Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we'll be discussing a very important topic in biology, passive transport. More specifically, we'll be talking about diffusion. This video is the 18th in the series of Grade 9 Biology Unit 3 tutorials. If you haven't watched the previous videos, you can find them on our channel. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our videos. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please give us a like. Now, let's get started. Cells interact with their surroundings to stay alive. They need to exchange materials like oxygen and waste products with their environment to function properly. One of the main ways this exchange happens is through a process called passive transport. Passive transport is a simple way substances move across a cell membrane without using energy. It allows substances to move across the cell membrane without the cell using any energy. Passive transport happens when substances naturally move from an area where there are many of them to an area where there are fewer. In this lesson, we will dive into how passive transport works, focusing on a key type called diffusion. Let's begin by understanding the basics of passive transport. Passive transport is driven by the inherent kinetic energy of molecules. You see, molecules are always in motion. They jiggle around randomly, and this random movement causes them to spread out. If there's a higher concentration of molecules in one area, they will naturally move to areas where there are fewer molecules. This natural movement from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration is what we call diffusion. It's like when you put a few drops of food coloring in a glass of water. The dye molecules spread out or diffuse throughout the water until the entire liquid is colored. One of the most important features of passive transport is that it doesn't require the cell to expend energy. Unlike active transport, where cells use energy to move substances against their concentration gradient, passive transport simply follows the natural movement of molecules. In essence, it's a way of moving substances across the cell membrane without using any energy. This characteristic is vital for the cell as it conserves energy for other essential functions. Now let's look at diffusion in detail. Diffusion is a special kind of passive transport where individual molecules move from a region where they are more concentrated to a region where they are less concentrated. Imagine a condition where people are encouraged to move from a crowded room to a less crowded room. Diffusion is much like that. It's a natural process that happens all the time in our bodies and in the world around us. Let's consider the example of smelling perfume. When you spray perfume in a room, only a few people near the bottle smell it initially, but after a while, the entire room smells like the fragrance. That's because the perfume molecules have diffused or spread from the point where they were sprayed to every corner of the room. This is a great illustration of how diffusion works. The molecules responsible for the perfume's smell, known as odor molecules, moved from an area of high concentration, where they were highly concentrated near the bottle, to an area of lower concentration, spreading throughout the entire room. Now, let's talk about the factors affecting diffusion. The rate at which diffusion takes place depends on several factors. These factors include the concentration gradient, temperature, size of diffusing molecules, distance over which diffusion occurs, and surface area available for diffusion. First is the concentration gradient. The steeper the concentration gradient, the faster the diffusion. This means that the greater the difference in concentration between two areas, the quicker the molecules will move from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. For example, if you put a drop of red food coloring in water, the color will spread rapidly throughout the water because the concentration of the dye is much higher in the drop than in the surrounding water. Conversely, if the concentration gradient is less steep, diffusion will be slower. Second is temperature. Just like the rate of most chemical reactions, diffusion is sped up by higher temperatures. Heat makes molecules move faster, which means they collide more frequently and successfully make it across the membrane. Consider putting a hot cup of tea next to a cold cup of tea. The tea molecules in the hot cup move faster and will diffuse to the cold cup more quickly. Third is the size of the diffusing molecules. Smaller molecules generally diffuse faster than larger molecules. This is because smaller molecules move more quickly and take less time to collide with and pass through the cell membrane. For example, oxygen molecules are smaller than water molecules, so oxygen will diffuse faster than water. Fourth is distance. Diffusion is faster over shorter distances. The shorter the distance that molecules have to travel, the less time it takes for them to reach equilibrium. Think of a game of hot potato. If the players are close together, the potato will change hands quickly. But if the players are far apart, it will take longer for the potato to reach a new player. Fifth is surface area. A larger surface area allows for faster diffusion. This is because there are more areas for the molecules to move across. For example, if you flatten a piece of paper, it will take less time for the ink to spread to the edges than if you roll it up into a tube. In summary, passive transport is a crucial process for cells. It allows substances to move in and out without using energy, following the concentration gradient. Factors like concentration gradient, temperature, molecule size, distance, and surface area all influence how fast diffusion occurs. By understanding these factors, we can see how cells are designed to efficiently exchange materials with their environment. Passive transport helps cells save energy for other important tasks, ensuring they stay healthy and function properly. Before we end this lesson, let's take a look at the review questions and answers. Question 1. What is passive transport, and why is it important for cells? Answer. Passive transport is the movement of substances across a cell membrane from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration without using energy. It is important because it helps cells take in essential substances like oxygen and remove waste like carbon dioxide to maintain balance and stay healthy. Question 2. What is diffusion, and how does it work in cells? Answer. Diffusion is a type of passive transport where molecules move from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration. In cells, diffusion allows molecules like oxygen to enter and carbon dioxide to leave naturally without the cell using energy to support processes like respiration. Question 3. Name the factors that affect the speed of diffusion and explain how they work. Answer. 2 factors are the concentration gradient and temperature. A larger concentration gradient means a bigger difference in molecule concentration, so diffusion happens faster as molecules move to even out the concentrations. Higher temperatures make molecules move faster, speeding up diffusion, like how warm water mixes faster than cold water. Question 4. How does surface area influence diffusion in cells? Answer. A larger surface area allows more molecules to cross the cell membrane at once, making diffusion faster. Cells in places like the intestines have microvilli, tiny projections that increase surface area, helping them absorb substances more quickly. We hope you found this lesson helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. And remember to subscribe for more great science lessons.